Hi, this is our Project Green Break. I'm Maggie.
I'm Megan.
I'm Will.
And I'm Dylan.
Beginning with the problem definition, our project is based around a fixing from our additional idea, and our initial carbon tracking app placed the responsibility for carbon emissions on individuals rather than industries and corporations, making the solution largely symbolic, while also failing to account for those that are not proficient in technology use. Unlike our original on the go app, which relies on digital tracking and abstract metrics, Greenbreak provides direct, tangible experiences with sustainability that can have meaningful impacts across communities. And the Tufts campus has a variety of quiet, unused spaces that have wonderful potential to become utilized for wellness through sustainability. And our idea of green break can transform these spaces into micro gardens. Spaces that were once unused can be given to students to use to connect with nature and nurture plants and enjoy the benefits of gardening. And this idea brings sustainability initiatives while also bringing life and purpose to these campus spaces. There is also a limited understanding of which factors like mental health, social connections, sustainability values, incentives, and convenience most strongly predict student engagement in a sustainability driven program like Green Break. The product summary of our idea involves Green Break being a student centered micro gardening program that transforms small, unused campus spaces into accessible garden spots where students can grow herbs, vegetables, or flowers. And this is and this purpose is to promote sustainability and give students more free space to garden. And it is designed to be simple, social, and sustainable, giving students a low pressure way to connect with nature and support their mental health while also building community through sustainability.
To ensure that Green Break is actually viable, we need to identify some of the factors that show if someone's going to participate. And this includes various independent variables like health benefits, proximity, social aspect, incentives, sustainability, time constraints, and mental health benefit. We then take this all together in a regression analysis, which then looks at the likelihood to participate, which is our dependent variable.
For our survey, we collected 30 responses from students, college students, giving us a solid sample to understand how students feel about the green break concept. The purpose of the survey was to identify which factors predict the students' likelihood to participate in green break, our dependent variable. We measured several potential predictors, including perceived mental health benefits, the importance of sustainability, convenience, and proximity, time constraints, social motivations, incentives like class credit, or access to fresh produce. By analyzing these responses, we can better understand which features matter most to students and how to design a Green Break program that matches their needs and motivations.
So first, we wanted to check if students' distance that they live away from campus uh, correlated with their likelihood to participate. So Spearman's rank order correlation was conducted to examine the association between students' living distance from their likelihood of participating in the Green Break initiative. It showed a very weak negative relationship, and the relationship was not statistically significant with a p-value of 0.541, indicating that students' actual living distance from campus was not meaningfully related to their likelihood of participation. So just to double check that there was no significant relationship between students' living distance from campus and their likelihood to participate, we did one more analysis using dummy coded variables. Living on campus was our constant or baseline, and the other two options, living 3 miles away from campus or further away, were our dummy variables. When conducting the regression analysis, we found that the overall model was completely insignificant, which kind of solidified our results. But if we look closer, we see that the B values are minimal. But for example, it showed that people who live further than 3 miles away from campus score 2.3 points lower than on-campus students on likelihood to participate. So overall, we found that distance does not significantly affect likelihood to participate, but wanted to double check this in the beginning since it could be a confounding variable that we miss in our market research.
Looking at our simple regressions, we utilize 7 independent variables. And this table depicts the results of our regression analysis, which shows which factors best predict students' likelihood to participate in Green Break from our survey results. And students' likelihood to participate are predicted throughout these independent variables, and this table shows how strongly each independent variable predicts their students' willingness to participate. And the independent variables with higher R squareds are the most impactful predictors. And health benefits seem to be the strongest predictor on this chart as it has the highest R square value. And proximity is a second, coming at 6.38. And this means that convenience somewhat matters to students, but not in a major way. And social factors came in third, and incentives fourth. And sustainability motivation came in sixth, with time constraints, with sustainability motivation coming in fifth, and time constraints coming sixth, and mental health benefits coming in seventh. So these are the ranking of how these independent variables are affected by students.
So after seeing what independent variables are the strongest and weakest predictors of likelihood to participate in Green Break, we wanted to see if any variables were more positively associated with each other. So we conducted a bivariate correlation analysis to create this independent variable matrix you see here. Firstly, all correlations are statistically significant, and we see that some correlations are very large, with R being between 0.72 and 0.76. The Pearson correlations showed us that our motivations, aka independent variables, cluster together and kind of behave like one broad underlying construct, meaning that if one person feels strongly about one IV, they feel strongly about another specific IV. So here we look at the two strongest correlations in our matrix, proximity and health benefits. Uh, the R equals 0.724, which is quite strong. We can interpret this as students who want their own healthy produce also want the garden to be close by. Next, we see that students motivated by incentives are also motivated by the social aspect of Green Break. And then lastly, we see that students who are motivated by the social aspects are also motivated by health benefits.
Here we're looking at the descriptive results for our dependent variable. We had 30 respondents, and overall interest is moderately positive with a mean score of 3.27 on a 5-point scale. From the bar chart, we can see that the largest group of students reported being somewhat likely to participate, while 20% are extremely likely, which is good, showing strong interest among more than half of the respondents. On the other end, only 13% were extremely unlikely and 6% neutral, meaning relatively few students opposed the idea or felt indifferent. Standard deviation of 1.39 shows there is some variation in responses, but overall the distribution leans towards positive participation intentions.
So when looking at our conclusion and suggestions, our regression analysis showed that the health benefits of the R square 0.725 and proximity of R square 0.638 are the two strongest predictors when it comes to likelihood of participation, and the data also shows a large correlation R of 0.765 between social motivation and incentives. This further proves that students are more likely to be motivated by variable benefits and social opportunities. However, they're more keen to participate only if the distance is not too far. So what does this mean for the future and our suggestions? Overall, Green Break should focus its marketing efforts to highlight social wellness, student perks, and various product placements. They can do this by launching a group incentive program, which allows students to obtain academic credit for beginning and maintaining micro gardens, specifically ones located in nearby locations and on campus.
Thank you.